Welcome to Whiskey One, the channel for the novice, the curious, and the connoisseur. I'm Whiskey One, and today we're going to be sipping and tasting some Rabbit Hole Raceking. So stick around. Whiskey fam, sit down and grab a dram and listen to the soothing sounds of your boy Whiskey One talk a little whiskey. All right, folks, we have ourselves a little treat. This is a premium bottle release, and I want to send a quick shout out to our good friend Erik Anderson, who let us borrow the bottle so we could share it all with you guys. This is a double chocolate malt bourbon. Now, this isn't the first time that I tasted this. We did have a chance to sip on it and enjoy it as a group during the Whiskey One Whiskey in the Woods event that we had earlier in the summer. We basically hosted a few friends and supporters of the channel and tried different whiskeys while camping out. And it was a pretty cool experience. We got to hang out at a log cabin out in the woods, and it is exactly what you thought it'd be. Now, I did mention Erik let us borrow the bottle, and we really truly appreciate that. Much love to you, Erik, for sharing with us. And we're gonna see what this is all about, because this is one of those hard to find bottles. It is on the premium side. But if you're like me and you come across these bottles that are kind of expensive, hard to get, usually you have to be like a well-known customer of the liquor store owner or just have the luck of the draw. You're always gonna be wondering, like, is something like this worth it? And I don't know if you guys that are watching are big fans of Rabbit Hole. I did have a chance to go to a Rabbit Hole tasting earlier in the year as well, try out their different bourbons, their rye, and I thought they were really interesting. Solid whiskey for sure, and I appreciate what they're doing. And so coming across this gem right here was sort of a no-brainer, and I definitely welcome the chance and the opportunity to taste. So this is the presentation case that it comes in. Really nice case. This is a cask strength bourbon. And as far as the mash bill, it's 70% corn, 13% rye, 10% malted rye, and then you have 2 chocolate malts, 4% chocolate malt wheat and 3% chocolate malted barley. Never chill filtered, as it should be, according to the box. Now, again, no age statement, so I'm not quite sure, what the deets are. But if you guys are watching and you guys happen to know that info, drop a comment, let us know what's up. And let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? Now, I'll show this off here a little later, but that is a hefty cork there. This thing's solid metal, by the way. And you could shoot your eye out with it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this sucker. Have me a little pour. If you guys are proof hounds and you're looking for something a little stronger, this will certainly get you there. It's not watered down. Like I said before, this is bottled at cask strength. And before I get into this, I really want to make sure I do some other shout outs. You guys that are Patreons and you're going above and beyond to show love to the channel, I really appreciate it. And you might all be wondering, like, well, what is this new layout all about? We are going to use this room. It's a dedicated room, some space for our podcasts. Now, in the past, we've tried to do versions of a podcast in our bar at the Whiskey Room, and it's not really conducive to a podcast, I'll be honest with you. And so we did move some things around, and we're touching this room up just to be able to have a better sound quality and just a better experience. We're gonna have different guests, be able to talk to folks, nationwide or internationally. We'll be taking advantage of the technology just to, meet distillers from around the country or around the world if possible. And also, to reach out to some of you guys that are part of our fan base. We would love to have that discussion with you guys. Carry on that dialogue to see what whiskeys you guys are intrigued with, what piques your interests within the whiskey community, and overall just hang out and have some fun with you guys. So that's the goal. And right now it's sort of a blank canvas. There's not a whole lot of action going on within the room, but But you know what? As we grow and you guys continue to support us, you're going to see some growth. So again, thank you for becoming Patreons. Quick shout out to Corey Dupree, who's our latest Patreon. So thank you, sir. Much love to you. So let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? Starting with the nose. Man, there's a good deal of complexity here. Real fruit forward. It's a bit of a mix of like red berries, mountain berries, some fig. There's some, fig and date going on here. And there's a good amount of spice. Now, I guess you could consider this a high rye bourbon. And although you do have wheat and you have this like chocolate malted thing going on here, I do want to kind of point out, when you see something like that on the label, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, it's a chocolate malt, so you're going to instantly get chocolate. My experience has been that you usually have to kind of dig around a little bit, even if the label kind of entices you with that word chocolate. But going back to the nose, if anything, it's like toffee. It's got a little nuttiness to it. There's a good deal of like tobacco. It's earthy. But I wouldn't say like chocolate is jumping out. And that's probably because it's gonna come out more on the taste. So without further ado, cheers you guys. Let's take a little sip. Mmm. Mmm. Okay. Wow. Like I said, cask strength. It's not in that 60% and above. It's right in that mid-range, that 50, 54, close to 55% ABV. Oh, wow. It's got a great Kentucky hug. That taste is nice. It's very inviting. And that initial sip, it kind of lights you up. It kind of gets the sparks going. So I'm gonna take another sip and then I'm gonna talk to you guys about what I got in here. Mm-hmm. 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 Wow. Got to breathe that out, man. That's got a little bit of heat. It's warming, like I said, a good Kentucky hug. Now it's not, I wouldn't say this is like a proof bomb or anything like that, but it's one of those whiskeys that once it sets on the palate, you just want to kind of keep it there and it starts to warm up. The heat starts to rise a little bit. Not exactly burn you, but just a little bit of that low temp heat. So on the taste, you get a lot more cherry, like dark cherries, mountain cherries. And of course, you get some cinnamon. You get a little bit of leather. The tobacco is a little lighter on the taste. Now, as far as chocolate, I'm not really getting like loads of chocolate. I think it's more of an afterthought. So again, sometimes a label can be a little misleading, and that's not to say that this isn't a superb bourbon or anything like that. But this is a nice, inviting bourbon. It's very much a Kentucky straight bourbon, In my experience, a lot of Kentucky straight bourbons has a lot of the same qualities. So I'm getting vanilla, I'm getting the caramel, I'm getting that a little bit of minerality, just a light touch, but I do get the leather and the oak, all the things that you kind of expect from a Kentucky straight bourbon. But on the finish, that's where the cinnamon and just a light amount, and I want to say it's a super light amount of baking spices that sort of linger. I'm gonna take one more sip with you guys, and then give you my final thoughts on it. Wow. One thing I'm gonna point out is that it's very well balanced. I certainly come across bourbons that are like ultra spicy. There'll be like a high rye bourbon and it'll be like very aggressive on the spicy side. but everything's sort of in the right place at the right time. It's sweet. Like I said, you know, your caramels, your vanillas are definitely there, but it does have that earthiness to it. So I'm not sure if this is like a well-aged bourbon. I wish I had more details for you guys on that, but I don't. And I will say that this is a great bottle. You know, I think, you know, for the taste, for what it is, and for what it's probably going to run you, I would definitely say that this is for the whiskey curious. You know, those that, yeah, they come across a Rabbit Hole whiskey, they like what it has to offer, you might even become a fan, but you're going to be a little bit more curious to jump up a few levels to get this bottle here. And I think it's really a great representation. You know, the box itself is pretty cool. Like I said, do some cutaway of the box and the overall presentation of it. I think it's great. It certainly has my stamp of approval. So 100%. Erik, thank you, sir, for letting me have a chance to try this. Oh, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention something. I have a other Rabbit Hole single barrel cask strength. Now this was reviewed. So for you guys that follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you get to see what my thoughts are on this little gem here. I thought this was really done well. I like the artwork. I encourage you guys to check me out on Instagram or Facebook and find my review. Definitely have a lot more in-depth tasting notes and a little bit of information on what this bottle is. So hopefully you guys check us out there. And if you guys do become subscribers or you do follow us on Instagram and or Facebook, we have these Glen hats. These are basically Glencairn covers that my good buddy Mike Pierce and Steven made for me. So check these out. I got a little metallic turquoise and metallic copper variations here. If you guys are interested, I do send these out for free. And these are really great around the summertime. If you guys are out and about in the backyard, you're having some friends over, you want to keep the bugs out of your good whiskey, right? So we have different versions. We got the black, like I said, we got the turquoise, and of course we have the variations of the copper. It looks a little reddish, so kind of depending on the lighting, you may not see it so well, but these came out really, really nice. So thank you guys for helping me get these put together. And if you guys, like I said, are interested, just hit me up, drop me a message, and we'll get these sent out at no charge. All right, guys, so thanks for sticking around and checking us out. We really appreciate you guys paying us a visit, and hopefully we get to see you again. Here at Whiskey One, it's about the one you enjoy. Cheers.